There is a marriage crisis happening in Black America. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, greetings, beloveds. I am Coach Felecia Killings, the founder and CEO of the Felecia Killings Foundation and the Conscious Conservative Movement. In my previous video, I talked to you about the transition that the foundation is in. Now that we have solidified ourselves as a powerhouse within conservative politics, particularly in helping evangelical leadership bridge this gap between themselves and conservative Black Americans. We are now building upon that work and merging into the social spheres, but learning how to use data, research, qualitative data, quantitative data, in order to help inform what God is doing, not just in our spiritual or religious spaces, but also within our political spaces. So for today, for this video in particular, I'm going to be talking about one of the reasons why we have shifted our focus in terms of empowering Black families and Black marriages this next round. Now, I don't know how long we will be focused on phase two. With phase one, which seems to have been the most difficult of them, it took us about 8 years to really solidify ourselves in this space in terms of being thought leaders, if you want to call us that, or basically respected within the field of conservative politics. Many of you know, those of you who have followed me, I've been featured on Fox News, News Nation, all of these mainstream and even independent media outlets, to share with them the insight, not just the prophetic spiritual insight, but also the conservative political insight, helping them to know, like, this is how we win victories, by actually doing things a better way. So I'm not quite sure how long we're going to be in phase two as we focus on the social empires, but listen up. We are very committed to this, and we are excited to be partnering with other ministries and organizations like Iconic Marriages. I'm also thinking about bringing my parents to some of these videos to share even their own story about how they are successful in their current marriage and the way that they have made marriage training a part of their ministry back home. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So anyways, for this next video, I want to talk about some of the data that we have with us right now. And it really focuses on the marriage crisis happening within Black America. Now, let me preface this. Holy Spirit, you're always welcome in my videos. Let me preface this by saying there is, at this moment, a marriage crisis in America, generally speaking. The marriage rates are very low compared to what they used to be about 50 years ago. And I'll probably leave some links in the comments, or in the description of blah, 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 blah. Y'all know the whole YouTube bit. Subscribe, like, share, whatever, okay? Whatever. Getting back. But anyways, oftentimes what happens is whatever is taking place in the general area of American social, political, and economic spaces, you can expect to see an even greater crisis happening within Black America. So I believe the numbers right now are about, for Americans, about 48% are married, but within Black America, it is at roughly 29-30%. It's actually a very, very low number. And these numbers reflect so many different things. And we'll be talking about that even as we continue to do a lot of our think tank articles and our research and development. And so some of the things that I want to address in this video in particular is one of the reasons why this is happening, right? We have different shifts taking place, different attitudes when it comes to marriage within Black America. And in case you're wondering, like, is Coach Felecia married? No, I'm not married today, but I was married before, divorced. I talk about my story just a very little bit because I don't really believe in bashing a situation like that, only because there are so many different circumstances surrounding it. But one of the reasons why I started talking about marriage in social empires within even my conservative politics space was because I began to notice how many people I was coming across in the virtual world who did not have the same kind of spiritual and marriage training that I received and that pretty much everybody at our church received back home. And I realized that a lot of the things that I was trained to do, it's like an anomaly in the rest of the world. And so as I started sharing some of my some of the lessons learned, such as literally learning how to be a wife. Like, being a wife is not just something that you magically know how to do just because you get that ring on the finger, right? No, it's actually you learning the mindset that goes with becoming a wife, understanding some of the principles like submission and honoring your husband, or seeing him as the head and the leader in the home. Like, this is real training that we encountered back home under the tutelage of my parents. And by parents, I'm talking about my dad and my beautiful stepmother. I call her Darlin, but her name is Felecia Killings. Okay. Anyways, so as I continued to have these conversations with people online, I was like, it's very hard for me to believe that you guys don't know that you have to be trained to be a husband, or you have to be trained to be a wife. Like, you're not just magically knowing what to do. And I compared it to the way that we prepare for everything else in life. We prepare for college. We prepare ourselves. If we want to start a business, we go and get the training, or we hire a coach, or you know what I mean? We do internships, or we do you get what I'm saying? Like, we prepare ourselves for everything except this. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, something has to change. Something has to shift. So within conservative politics, you will see different think tanks such as the Heritage Foundation and many others that really focus heavily on restoring the American family, increasing the marriage rates, increasing the birth rates. Like, you'll see those kinds of articles coming out. You'll see individuals who focus on studying the social empires. They don't use that phrase. We use it over here at the foundation, but you'll see them doing that, but you won't see them following up with an actual program that teaches the people how to do it. And so that's where the foundation comes in. This is what differentiates this conservative think tank from the other ones. Not only do we talk about these particular issues, not only do we present ideas to improve the issues or to fix the problems, but we also have a program. So that as individuals are listening to our content or reading our books or reading our research, and they say we actually want what the foundation, the Felecia Killings Foundation, is doing, they can actually enroll in our program because we've already set it up. And so later on, I will talk to you more about the CCM Love, Marriage, and Family Leadership Program, which is now available for open enrollment. And this is a 12-week program where we are walking individuals, mainly singles, single men, single women, who are interested in learning how to prepare themselves for marriage success in the 21st century. So let's talk about some data just a little bit. Now, as I mentioned, within Black America, only about 30% of Black America has married couples. And by married couples, I want to make sure I'm emphasizing this clearly. I'm talking about people who have gone the legal route to become officially married. So this does not include people who are cohabiting or individuals who are just dating and they want to pretend like they're married. It's nothing like that. I'm talking about the traditional legal aspect of marriage. And only about 30% of Black America is functioning in that. And we have many reasons for it. Among them is just really the shift in attitude within Black America, Black culture, as it relates to how they view traditional marriages. It's just not the same in 2026 that it was 50, 60, 70 years ago. And that's understandable, right? When you have these kinds of progressive shifts in the culture, you're going to start to see individuals who want to move away from the conservative values that have preserved their unions, that have preserved their communities. And some people might think, well, as we become more progressive, we should see more success. And those of us on the conservative side are saying, well, what has that produced? What have been the benefits of this kind of progressivism? Sure, we should be progressing when it comes to like the way society views women. We're not subservient. We're not second-class citizens. So yes, there is a necessity for progress, if you will. But there's also a call to us as individuals to conserve and preserve certain traditions that have kept us alive, surviving, and also thriving. And there's no one who can look at Black history and Black antiquity and say that the preservation of the family structure somehow resulted in destruction. There's no one who can argue that statement and be taken seriously. We can look at, however, progressivism's destruction of the Black family, and we can ascertain, based upon what we have seen over the last several decades, that progressivism, when infused in our Black social empires, causes more destruction. So sometimes when you're listening to conservative think tank persons, men, women, whatever, they will tell you that progressive democratic policies like the welfare system, which is not even purely Democrat, but I'm digressing. They will say that these kinds of policies tore down the Black family. It took the Black husband or father out of the home to enable the Black mother to receive, social welfare benefits. You know what I mean? They will talk about that, and those topics, that analysis has its place. But what I want to do is get back to understanding these spiritual elements. And that's where we will focus on when I'm talking about the social empires, going back to the very beginning in terms of understanding God's mindset when it comes to the family. So we go straight to Genesis, right? We look in the scriptures, and in a perfect state, a perfect condition, we had man, Adam, and we had woman, Eve. And together they were given the power and ability to exercise dominion in the earth. But it was done in this context of a union. It was not done separately. Adam didn't impregnate her and then force Eve to go and figure life out by herself with these children. There had to have been this structure. And so what we do at the foundation is we're going back and we're looking at what are the spiritual principles that enabled certain family structures to thrive. And a part of the ancient text includes the concept of arranging marriages, where you don't just date anyone. You don't simply procreate with just anyone. You become very conscious and very intentional about who you are looking to build your life with. And that's what we are doing within our newest program, as I mentioned earlier. And so the crisis within Black families, the crisis within Black America as it relates to love, marriage, family, it is not simply just, well, it's because of the progressive Democrat policies. Like, you cannot just put all the blame on politics. There has to be another issue, another situation that's taking place within Black America and America as a whole. And that is what we need to have these discussions on. So when I am writing my articles for the think tank, and when I'm collaborating with some of the other experts like Nicole Pinson and Iconic Marriages, I have those kinds of conversations. What are the spiritual elements that are missing here within our community in order for us to progress more? How are we going to address this problem right here? So I'll give you another example. I'm also on Facebook, and I came back to Facebook mostly because I needed a place to flesh out some of my ideas. And Facebook is nothing like Twitter at all. So when I'm fleshing out ideas, nobody pushes back on me at all. Like, I guess they just kind of learned, like, don't even respond to Coach Felecia because in like a few weeks she's going to be proven right. I don't know what it is, but they don't even bother me in the comments anymore. So anyways, as I'm writing a lot of this content, I start talking about Black culture. And I'm asking the culture these questions like, does a culture embrace the morality of marriage anymore? Not just the idea of marriage, not just the idea of having a wedding and getting dressed up and doing all those spectacular social media content type of things, but the actual morality of marriage. Is it present in the culture? These are some of the research questions that I'm asking. And if the morality is not there, then we can look at the data and see, okay, well, this is why the marriage rates are so low. It's not because Black women are too difficult to deal with. It's not because Black men don't want to lead. There's something else happening on a very different level. And we have to be able to talk about what that thing is. If we can identify that thing, then we can solve it. And so what I am arguing is there is a spiritual, moral deficit within Black America as it relates to love, marriage, and family. And we need to address it. So I have this theory that if Black leadership, that includes their spiritual leaders, that includes their politicians, if Black leadership today collectively said nationwide, marriage between a man and a woman is now a moral duty for Black America. And we are now going to ask those who are a part of the culture, the cultural icons, to infuse this message in their music, in their art, in their film, in their television. My theory is we will see Black marriages soar. And by soar, I'm talking about not something that just has to take 10 years before we see the results of it. I'm talking about 2 years, 5 years from now. You will see double the number of marriages. So let me repeat my theory. My theory is if Black leadership, which includes the spiritual leaders, like the pastors, the missionaries, however that structure is over there within the Black church, if they're Black politicians, yes, who are primarily Democrat, if they're Black leaders, said collectively, nationally, we are now going to make marriage between a man and a woman the moral compass within Black America, and they infused that message with the culture, then the people will begin to emulate it. That's my theory. Now, I'm going to be fleshing that theory out more because I have a feeling like Black leadership will be like, who's this girl? Or why does she keep talking about da-da-da-da-da? Like, I just sense it. Maybe that's the Holy Spirit sharing with me something. But that's the thing that has to happen. There has to be something else that goes beyond just these surface level conversations as it relates to the marriage crisis within Black America. It has to be deeper than that. So with the foundation, what we are going to be doing is exploring that other element. Like, yes, we will talk about progressive politics a little bit and its influence on the Black family. Yes, we'll talk about, some things here and there in terms of the culture not really fully embracing marriage the way it used to. We will address that, but our primary focus is going to be on the morality element, the spiritual element. Because again, even though Black Americans are primarily Christian and conservative or moderate, still it's like, well, if that is the case, then why is marriage not a moral priority within Black America? So I hope you enjoyed that little think tank piece. Like I said, some of these videos I'm going to be fleshing ideas out, but some of them I just want to, put some ideas even in your mind. And if it's something that interests you, like if you are like, Coach Felecia, I don't even need to hear anymore. I absolutely want to learn more about your program, what the foundation is trying to do, and I want to be a part of this new love, marriage, and family program that you guys are doing. Be sure to check out more of the information in the description below, because I think you're really going to love it. I think you're going to really be blessed by the transformation that takes place in your life. Again, even if you're single, even if you're not even ready to get married just yet, just the preparation part is really going to be transformative. So I invite you to take a look at that. Click those links, do all that jazz. Y'all know what you're supposed to do on YouTube. The subscribe, the like, the share, the boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-da-ba-da. Do all that. All right, so I'm going to bring you another video later on as I continue to flesh through this research. Take care, beloveds.